Hey everybody, this is Russ from Metro Game Core. This is going to be another video of crap that arrived at my house while I was gone at CES last week. So this is the new Anbernic RG34XX. They've got a new color. They're calling it Glacier. So just a quick video here to show what it looks like. And as far as I can tell, nothing has changed from the box other than this new Glacier option. It's got a little sticker right here, and this was sent over from Anbernic to check out. So I know a lot of people really love that Glacier colorway, so we'll take a look at that here. Inside, we've got, same things. We've got a little, what do they call this, a lanyard, as well as a screen protector, and then also our manual. In this little box will also be a USB-C to USB-A cable, so nothing crazy there, all just kind of what we expect. Now let's actually take a look at the device, and yeah, we've got this Glacier color. Now, a lot of people call it Glacier Blue is like the color from Nintendo. Again, I'm not like a GBA guy, like I never owned one of these back in the day, but this to me does not look blue at all. This looks like Glacier Gray if I was to call it anything. Either way, it is a transparent model. You can see that it's a little bit frosted, and so you can't totally see through it. But it's got a pretty nice feel to it altogether. But yeah, I would say not Glacier Blue, but just rather kind of Glacier Gray. Either way, it definitely has a like 90s kind of vibe to it. You can see, just the color itself just looks nice. And it kind of, because we have these grayer buttons as well, it all just kind of flows a little bit more seamlessly as opposed to something that's a little bit contrasty like the Indigo one, right? So the Indigo one, you can see there's just like a big contrast between the colors as well as the buttons, whereas this one's just a little bit more muted. And so I kind of like this, and I really think that between these two, I've heard a lot of people, now that they're getting into people's hands, is they like take it to work or whatever, and people be like, oh, is that the original Game Boy Advance? Because they don't even see like these buttons, for example, they kind of blend in, and I think this one will really kind of give that vibe as well. Just a couple things to check here. So number one is going to be whether or not the D-pad feels different, and actually, it kind of does. So this one feels softer and mushier than this one, which has got like a lot of height to it and a lot of pivot. This one to me feels a little bit softer. So I'll turn on these devices and actually test that. I wasn't expecting this. So that's going to be something. Dang it, now this is going to be a longer video. Anyway, so yeah, I'm already feeling that this D-pad is a little bit softer. So I don't know if they took some feedback from my video, but and it might just be, like a placebo thing, but no, this definitely feels softer. Like I feel like this has a softer rubber membrane inside. Honestly, same thing with the face buttons. Like these are actually, yeah, the actuation force is lighter on these as well. So it looks like they are using a softer rubber membrane. And again, I don't know anything about, I don't really talk to Anbernic in terms of like, hey, have you fixed this or not? But it does feel like they've made some changes here. So it does feel like these are softer now. I don't know if this will be implemented in the other models, you know what I mean? Maybe something they'll replace over time. But this is probably a good thing, and just in general, I think that a lot of people, including myself, thought the D-pad was too sensitive on this one, and that's why I wanted it to be, broken in more and a little bit softer. So I will do the contra test and everything on this one too to see if it is any different of a gameplay experience. But very unique and unexpected that, yes, this does feel a little bit different. Now, I really wanted to compare this one against a Glacier Game Boy Advance, and it's the same problem I had last time, where as soon as it was announced, I went and I put in an order for it on eBay or Mercari. I can't remember where I got it, but I think it's one of those, and again, about $80 for one, and it just hasn't arrived yet, so I don't have one to compare it to against yet. I will do that in, some pictures or footage later on in the future, but at least as of right now, I don't have the other one to compare against, but I wanted to get this one out as quickly as possible, just to at least show you in a vacuum what this one looks like. Hey, this is Editing Russ. I really like doing these little segments here in the backyard. It's a lot better than the actual room I edit in. Anyway, my former best friend Zoo just recently made a video about the Glacier model of the Anbernic RG34XX, and he had an original Glacier model to compare to. So I'm going to refer you to his channel. You can see the footage right here, and it actually looks like a dead ringer. So even though a lot of people, including myself, thought the Glacier one was going to be a bit more blue and that the Anbernic one was more gray, I actually think that it's okay. So if you are looking for something that's super accurate, maybe it's a little bit off, but it's a lot closer than I was initially thinking. So really just kind of ignore all the stuff I just said about how it's not super accurate, because it's actually a lot more accurate than I thought. And once I actually have the original Glacier to compare with, I'll do a follow-on update as well. But as far as I can tell with Zoo's lighting, it actually looks very close. Now, I took the SD card from the Indigo one, I put it in this device. I have my stock card that came with this, but I assume this is just going to be the same stock experience that it was a month and a half ago when this device first came out. So we won't test that. We're going to go directly into the OS that I've already set up for myself, which allows me to, knock out all my stuff. I did a whole video about the custom OS experience with this device, and I think it's a very GBA-centric device, and so I want it to be GBA-focused, which is why I have like all of my GBA showing up right here as you first boot it up. But what we're going to do here is actually test the Contra test. And so I'm going to go into my NES section. I'm going to find Contra. And what I want to do here is see whether or not this D-pad has actually been changed. Okay, so here we are with Contra. I'm going to press down the D-pad, rocket left and right. And yeah, the character is moving just as much as before. I'm not seeing any sort of improvement in the actual gameplay. So it feels softer to me, but it's still very sensitive, a little bit overly sensitive if you ask me. So all those problems that I've talked about with the 34XX in previous reviews feels the same in terms of just the actual gameplay performance. So nothing has changed, at least as far as I can tell from my review. When it comes to the actual sensitivity here, it just feels softer. It's easier to press down on. It feels a little bit more broken in. So again, maybe it'll take time between these two, and this is something I've speculated about before, is that maybe over time it'll actually, work out a little bit better. It's one of those things that's kind of complicated because you never know. When a rubber membrane softens and gets broken in, sometimes it makes the diagonals easier to use, sometimes it makes it harder to use. And so we will have to find that out. Logically, it should be easier to use over time, which is a bad thing with this sensitive controller, but you never know. So I will keep using these and testing it out, but as it stands right now, I am not seeing any sort of improvement with the D-pad diagonals, and so I still think that there is some improvement that could be made on this device altogether. Okay, one other thing worth noting is that, I have the green one as well, and it does appear to me at least that the frostedness is about the same between the two. You can see that, the shell and what you can see underneath with the PCB is about the same between these two. So really it's just going to be a color change, and they used, some sort of gray and maybe a little bit of a blue tint to it, not too much. But overall, it seems to be almost the identical frosted experience between this one and the other. And really, I think that's about it for this video. I just wanted to show off this colorway. I promised this would be a shorter video, and it definitely is. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below. But as it stands right now, I don't think that this color is super authentic, at least based on, comparing against pictures I've seen on the internet and whatnot. But we will, maybe revisit this once I have that other GBA actually in the mail. As it stands right now, the device has not changed in any way. Even though the D-pad does feel a little bit softer, I don't think it's actually changed the gameplay experience. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you want to learn more about any of these devices, I've got a full review on this channel. I'll leave a link down below with the other videos I've made on it. It's kind of crazy. I didn't expect to make 4 different videos about the same device, but here we are. I've made a review and a software one, and then I did another one comparing it against the original GBA, and then we now have this new color option. I wanted to get this out in front of you folks. So let me know what you think in the comments down below, whether or not this kind of moves the needle for you in any way. And as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you found this helpful, and we will see you next time. Happy gaming.